23 years anyway, the industry kind of boxes you to just constantly focus on the way you're looking. Yeah. But I've always tried to break away from the fact that I want to be an actor first.
I'm 54 now. I've seen so much in my life. I've felt pain, I've felt happiness, and I know the joy of happiness, and I know the pain. The pain can really, drive you nuts.
There's so much emotion in that, in those lines. If you put extra emotions into it, the mixture is bad. There's only namak hai उसमें. तो आपने अगर आधा चुटकी भी एक्स्ट्रा डाला तो वो खराब हो.
There is a class system, TV actor hai, film actor hai, choti film hai, badi film hai. I despise that.
I didn't come here to be a star. And I don't know what it takes to be a star either. I just know that there is something for me in performance that is therapeutic.
It's very easy every year to get pulled away on the other side. And we had to do like annual balance sheets saying, no, I still didn't do those things I said I would not.
You have to flow. There's an ocean out there. And it's time we all get in there, dive, and just discover what's happening.
Everyone, welcome to the Film Companion Actors Adda 2023. Such a pleasure to have all of you amazing artists sitting here in the room with me. Starting off by flagging a conflict of interest. Normally, Film Companion doesn't go anywhere near anything Vinod Chopra Films does. But we all collect.
I'm also Vinod Chopra.
वो 20 साल पहले था. But we felt that this year it would be grossly unfair to not have Vikrant here for his performance in 12th Fail. So we are just breaking our own rules, and I have to
So deserving.
It is, no? Yeah.
It's such a big success. It's so nice.
Yeah.
I mean, amazing.
So Vikrant.
Thank you for having
The
me.
rule breaker.
Exactly. So I'm going to start with something very simple. I want you guys to tell me if you have any rituals that you follow the night before a big scene. Like, are you learning your lines? Are you meditating? Are you trying to get to bed early? Are you anxious? What do you all do? Kareena, let's start with you.
No, I know what Jaideep does. He doesn't talk to anyone. He
The
doesn't
night
talk to the
before.
artists on the set. On the night before, on the day of shoot, just before the shot. So I know what Jaideep does. So that's what he does. And I'm over talking. So that's what I do.
You're like overcompensating.
I mean, like, I'm anyway generally just talking and like, I don't really think too much about it. So that's why, because my last film was with Jaideep. So that's how we're kind of, we're different actors, but I think that's what kind of the dynamics just worked out in the chemistry.
So, Jaideep, you stopped talking when exactly?
Not exactly. See, Naren Vyas was a different character with Maya. It's a very different chemistry between them. Otherwise, generally I don't talk much during, if you say so, that big scene or something like that. But my fear or anxiousness is the first day. I always feel like vomiting every single time when I start something. The first day is always like, रात को नींद नहीं आएगी, अगला पूरा दिन एटलीस्ट 2-4 सीन जब तक नहीं हो जाएगा, you feel like मुझे बात नहीं हो रही है, ऐसा लग रहा है वोमिट हो जाए.
अभी भी?
Yes, every single time I start something new. But Naren is very different person. वो उसके साथ, he's quiet to everyone. You don't see him talking except that kid.
Yeah.
Or answering to the people, good morning. That's it. So he doesn't talk. So it helped me in a lot, in a way that if I don't do even Kareena as a person, it might work, and it worked.
And this nervousness, when does it go away? After 3-4 scenes?
At least first day, towards the end of the first day. I remember during the first day of 3 of us, and I was just so anxious about, I have no idea कि अब क्या करने वाला. I don't have any body language, I don't have anything which is, you have to practice or something like that. And I was just walking here, and then Faisal, my friend from Abdel, he said, "Bhai, are you okay?" मैंने कहा हाँ, बस ऐसा लग रहा है वॉमिट होगा. क्यों? नहीं, वो पहला दिन है. And he got shocked कि अरे ये आदमी पाताल लोक किया इसने, he was AD to पाताल लोक. वो पहला दिन हमेशा भारी है.
Really?
Yeah.
For you, Jyotika?
Mine is an opposite story because I work in a language which was not my own language, so I've always mugged my lines. So by the time I'm closer to the scene and the day, I'm confident because I've mugged it all, and there's. And then of course there are jitters on the morning of the shoot. The camera rolls, and I think none of us can be ourselves, right? We're all. But the previous night, I'm quite good. It's all mugged and ready to.
Siddharth?
I think principally the night before I like to be with the script and just sit with it. And I don't understand big scene, small scene. Generally, I don't divide. I'm sure that's common for a lot of us. It's a scene, and like Joe says, what happens between action and cut is what all of us are eventually trying to live in. So for me, till the time the camera rolls, I try to do as much of prep as possible. So I don't, because once it rolls, it's forever, and we can't take it back. And then I don't like correcting in dub, and so I just figure that your last chance to do anything. And I wasn't like that in school. I've never completely studied the syllabus of any exam, leave alone do revision 1, revision 2 and all. But for cinema, it's different because I've read the script so many times that something will surprise you. But I sleep really well on any day. I've never been sleepless in my life. So if it's big scene, small scene, I sleep at will. You let me to lie down here, I'll sleep.
I think you can go to sleep right now.
I can happily sleep right now. It's easy peasy. So I think it's just staying with the script, and I've been told I talk a lot before I come to set, but on set I'm usually around the technicians and I talk a lot but in a different way. So it's not the usual tomfoolery I'm doing, but I think it helps always to stay as close to the script and the director as possible, so you know कि कुछ भी है that you want to find out, you find out before the camera rolls.
Right.
Yeah.
Bobby, what do you do?
I think for me, when I started my career, there were no scripts given to us.
Scripts थी ही नहीं पढ़ने को.
तो मैंने काम तब शुरू किया, एंड तो कभी डायलॉग मिलते तो सेट पे मिलते थे तो इतने नर्वस होते थे हम लोग कि कैसे याद करेंगे, इतनी लाइनें हैं. लेकिन स्लोली आदत बन जाती है, because in school I never cared about studying or learning poetry or reading poetries or whatever. But now it's changed and I'm so happy. I think it changed with me once early in my life was with Vinod, because he was the only one who wanted to do workshops every evening for the next day shooting. And I think I found that so amazing, because it used to prepare me. But other sets it was like, हाँ मिल जाएंगे, आ रहे हैं, लिख रहे हैं. But that's what then suddenly things started changing. And now, I've done some work where it was very challenging for me, and for me, unless an actor doesn't know his lines, I don't have to mug them, but I have to understand them. Yeah. So I spend a lot of time with my scripts. I put them next to me on my bedside, or I have my iPad, because then my wife gets angry. So when I'm on an outdoor, my scripts are lying next to me, because every time I wake up, I don't sleep well. I get up, read, and okay, just want to feel the lines, and that's how I prepare them. And it's so much fun. I never realized the fun of preparing till very late in my career. I think that's the most important thing for an actor, because I meet young kids and I keep telling them that you should really be prepared. Like my sons, they want to be actors, and I keep telling them, you first अपनी हिंदी ठीक करो, क्योंकि हम लोग हिंदी ठीक से नहीं बोलते, क्योंकि आदत नहीं है ना, सब अंग्रेजी बोलते हैं एक दूसरे से. और so I think once you have command over your lines, then you don't have to think of anything. You just feel the character.
Yeah.
And I think that's why in the last few years, people have given me that respect, because I really worked hard. I never knew about how much you have to prepare before that.
Yeah.
So I'm enjoying this. Like my last film, I don't even speak a word, but I had to learn sign language, which was so much fun. So I think it's exciting. I love the kind of filmmakers I've worked with the last few years has been amazing.
Yeah. Tilatma, what do you do?
Look, I have a lot of time usually because I do so little. So usually the prep period of a film is close to a year, and so it's like an everyday thing. You read the script and you live your life and you cook a few meals and you go out for holidays, and that the intimacy with the script is something that is becomes a part of you. You know, you just keep reading it. But no matter how long it is or how short the prep period is, like, you know, Jaideep Bhai said, on the first day, everything is theory until then, you know. But once you're there with your co-actors, the crew, everyone, and what's around you, you know, is there a window? Is there light coming in? Is there a mountain? Is there a river? And you take everything in, and then you realize your co-actors are not just the human beings, the people in the room, what's outside the room, and everything. So until you don't do the first few scenes, you don't really know if you're walking or speaking as the character, you know.
That's so true,
So
yeah.
until that's not out, it's just something. It's like a phantom, you know, that you've built in your head, and you're chasing that phantom during the prep period, and then it's the proof of the pudding is in that first few hours. That's nerve-wracking. I mean, I think if that went, I don't know, it would be so unfamiliar, because I think that's where almost you feel, you know, like the nervousness you feel when you fall in love. That slight unpredictableness of it all, you know.
I
So
love
it
it.
hasn't gone, because I think we love our work, no?
Yeah.
You please.
That's so
Maybe that's
nice.
why.
Vikant, do you fall in love on that first day?
First few days are definitely jittery. First couple of days at least. But if it's a big scene or a very important scene, so I try spending a lot of time with my scripts. I block generally. I insist on going on set if it's pre-lit. So you try going on set and try blocking it with the director. For 12th Fail, our shooting draft was 179. And that was
I
the
think
amount.
Vinod likes that. No? He's always above 100.
Yeah.
So our shooting draft was 179. I was on 12th Fail a year and a half prior to shoot. So I did spend a lot of time with this particular film. And generally, I try spending as much time as I can.
It's a happy anxiousness. It's not a bad
Correct.
anxiousness.
Correct.
Amazing thing is you enjoying it so much that you don't want to miss it also.
No,
I'm
there's
afraid
also the
the day
thing that
I'll
he-
lose this
Yeah.
anxiousness. I'm really afraid of that day.
Yeah.
Like the second season of Patalok, first day, 7:30 call time. I couldn't sleep. Like it's not kept. Oh, I can't sleep. I don't want to sleep. I reached there 5:30, and I slept on the Hathiram chair. I slept there. I just went and slept there for 1.5 hours.
How lovely. How lovely. But
Nobody
that's
was
like she
there.
said.
No light man.
No,
No, nothing.
all of the actors here, like you've heard, everybody's an individual with a very specific process, right? And
Yeah.
each time you work with a filmmaker, there's no standardized key, this film is going to be like this. Every film is different. So even if we have a specific night before, I think it's customized based on the opposite side.
Yes.
Sure.
And the first 5 days is also about learning to dance together. And sometimes we know, this is going to be a tough one because what I'm expecting is not coming in from the other side. So instead of us directing ourselves or teaching ourselves how to do, we have to make it work. So I think it's a bit of a marriage, like she says, it's a bit of falling in love. It's also a bit of marriage. There's a lot of adjustment. There's a lot of compromise. And eventually, hopefully it lasts, So that's what you're going for.
So you know your view on marriage now.
Well, it takes work.
I want to talk about scenes from each one of your films, scenes that really kind of stayed with me and moved me very much. Like Kareena, in of course, you also did very good work in Buckingham Murder, but we'll look at that for the roundtable in 2024. For Janeja, the murder sequence, right? There's this woman who goes from being defiant to being desperate. She's fearful, she's fearsome, she's really afraid of what this man's going to do to her daughter. And Sujoy staged it also
Staged.
so well.
So well.
And it just
The camera also helped. The movement of the camera.
Absolutely. But how did you create that emotion of absolute desperation?
I think that like everything is also, the director's vision. I feel like he's, as cliche as it sounds, that he is the captain of the ship. I feel he creates the milieu of the film. He kind of sets that tone. And the DOP and him together work like a dance. It's like a song and dance. And that's exactly, I feel like, what happened in the murder scene. It was actually, I felt like it was more like a a dance choreography rather than, you know, कि ये shot है, ये performance करना है, because the camera was never ever still. We had it on that, you know,
Yeah. Bungee.
yeah, on that
Always angled.
bungee. It was there, and it was here. So I was like, and for me it was like the first time, because I come from a world of where के shot हो रहा है तो you know के heroine का shot close up is being lit, and I was like, I'm not going to think about that. So Joy was like, don't think how you're looking, what's happening. I said, yeah, this is it. I'm just going to let go as an actor. And the camera was all the time like, it was like mandrawing on your head. So it was like something constantly leaning on you. So I was like, okay, fine, this is it. I'm just taking the plunge. And I think that kind of also helped. The fact that, you know, he was like so close to me, the director, the DOP, everything, it just kind of helped me get that whole performance out. So it was like I said, it was like a beautiful choreographed song, actually. But actually it was that desperation, the, you know, the emotion that was coming out rather than the dance steps.
But how hard, Kareena, is that when you've been an actor now for 23 years, you're a massive star, right? So much about the conversation around you is about the way you look, is about your beauty and what you bring to the table as a gorgeous woman. Then to let go of that vanity and say, I'm not going to think about it and I'm just acting. How hard is that?
Because for 23 years, anyway, the industry kind of boxes you to just constantly focus on the way you're looking.
Yeah.
But I've always tried to break away from the fact that I want to be an actor first, right from my first role. So it's never about, like, I'm also confident about, yeah, I look good, but I don't care if my lines are showing because that's just the way I am and I'm an actor. Can you look beyond that? And that's been always the challenge for me, that I've wanted them to look beyond that.
We are
And
looking beyond it.
That's the most important thing.
Definitely
The fact that I'm with actors like all of you guys, I think that's half the battle won for mine. So I think right from Refugee, it's always been about like wanting to prove myself as an actor. The star part of it was extremely incidental, and I have done films for that. But now it's not about that. And the fact that I think that I'm here with such brilliant artists, I think that's quite a testament, and I'm feeling quite honored to be amongst all of you guys.
Listen, I don't know what she's talking about because I've never thought of her as a pretty face.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
thought of her as an actor.
Well, she was doing Chameli in 2003,
Yeah.
Yeah,
20 years ago.
This is I don't know,
I
maybe
mean,
there are 3-4 people who talk about her as just a pretty face. But I mean, how long can you see a pretty face?
But I worked with her when she was
Yeah,
a little
so much
baby.
we worked
And her
together.
thought process used to be totally different there. But that happens because that's so you were so young,
Yeah.
you're not mature enough.
I
And
know.
neither was I. But I've seen them since they were like, and that time I mean, I don't want to say it, but I feel like saying it. I used to love eating pizzas.
I still do. I still do. Who doesn't like eating pizza?
No, but it was really.
Yeah, I was
I was like,
obsessed,
okay,
but I still am.
this is very Ajnabi. But you're a brilliant actor, so
No, please, thank you.
I mean, you're a star and an actor, not just.
I think with all of us, I think all of us are doing such amazing work. That's why I'm like, I'm happy I'm here, because I think each and every actor who's here, I think is here for the love of cinema. And that's the most important. We never really thought about, I think, the stardom aspect of it somehow. We've always tried to push ourselves as actors.
Yeah.
I think it's concomitant with the quality of work you do. You know,
Yeah.
I've always believed in this thing that stardom is concomitant with the quality of work you do. And I'm not just saying it because ma'am is here, but I've always given examples of people like Kareena ma'am, and there are a lot of male actors I really look up to. Stardom, you really cannot chase stardom. You know, I think if you're consistent with the quality of work that you do, and if you are good enough to convince people or sort of penetrate their system, and if they take the film back home, and if you're consistent, I think then stardom is something that just it's a byproduct, and that's how it is. Even like we're talking about ma'am going beyond what she looks. She's like Refugee Ashoka. I mean, when she did Ashoka, I mean, I as a movie fan, I was like, wow. I mean, she's so gorgeous. She doesn't need makeup, and I don't think you applied makeup in that.
No makeup at all.
Yeah, Omkara.
Yeah, it's
Or
all
Omkara,
fine.
yeah. Or Omkara.
Yeah.
And
Tara,
those
but I think Vishal also creates such a lovely
Yeah.
world, you know.
It's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Just fantastic.
Lagra Tyagi is
Yeah.
Also iconic in
Yeah,
a way.
absolutely. But I want to go back to the scenes. So that Chitta, is just such a devastating film about child sexual abuse. And props to you for not just acting in it, but also producing it, right? There's this scene in which, you are obviously, your niece is your whole world, and then you're wrongly accused of molesting her friend. And there is this scene where you walk out of the room and your sister-in-law is telling your niece about good touch and bad touch. And then she says, even if your uncle does it, let me know. And that look on your face where it looks like somebody's just slapped you. It was so, and then you put a little smile. Then there's a little smile that hovers around your lips because it's almost to reassure her that it's okay. And you're so devastated. How did you do that?
Chitta is a film that became what it was because of two things, according to me. One is obviously the writing. And the second is how we staged and executed the drama of the film. So the scene you're referring to has three characters on frame. A mother who's doing what any good mother should, telling her child, teaching her the limits that outsiders should not cross. And then the scene could have ended there. Good touch, bad touch, message conveyed. Then the child does what children do. She says, what if my uncle touches? The mother says, uncle won't touch you. Chitta won't touch you. The child persists, she says, what if my uncle touches? Now here, the way the scene is written, we need to be justified in all three perspectives. So the mother cannot be somebody who just says, oh, he's my brother-in-law, he won't, he's a good man, how can you ask this question? He will never do it. That's not the film we made. So in the thesis of the scene, so what Arun does, my director, is below every scene there will be 10 pages of detailing and subtext and stuff that helps you. So we wrote the film like this. It took us a year to write the film, and we wrote it in my house and my office, but it took us a year. And he would always come with research and subtext for each scene. So the subtext of this scene is, even if the child says, what if God touches me? The mother would say, even if God touches you, you come and tell me. That is what the scene is. Now, this is the scene, for me, this is my scene. This is the scene, one of the reasons we made this film. As a producer, for me, the scene ends there. I've already got it. But then he wants to come and see Chitta overhear this conversation. And no matter what happens there, we cannot make the mother sound wrong. So we can't take the hero or the protagonist to a point of heroism where you're like, ispe kaise shak? It's not that. So he tries to, like you said, push the reassurance to the child, but he can't because he's broken, and so he tries and he leaves. So yeah, it was, whatever you saw in the performance was workshopped very, very specifically. And what I love about the scene when I saw it, and I saw it in the dailies as a producer, is that inside that small house, and we were discussing that it's all live locations, there's no set in the film. So inside that house, to be able to stage a scene with a mother and child, and then to be able to come and see somebody inside the house but seeing it from the outside, the entire scene is at eye level. Because even the good touch, bad touch, he didn't want you to know where she's touching the child. He wanted the child to go home and say, where is she touching and what? And the mother should, at home then, in the audience, explain to their children where's allowed and where's not allowed. So the construction of the scene is in the writing. So for me, the performance becomes what it is because of the writing.
Which leads me to your film, Jyotika, which absolutely is not just about being gay. This is a film about a couple that's been married for 20 years, and then the wife asks for a divorce because the husband is gay. And props to Mammootty sir for, again,
Absolutely.
playing this role, for producing this film. And the scene that really killed me was, and it's told in such a gentle way. There's no drama, there's no, these two are actually companions. They become companions over 20 years. But through the divorce proceeding, he starts sleeping separately. And then just before the divorce comes through, Omana, your character, says to him that, please, will you sleep next to me again?
For a
And
night,
it just for that one night. It was so heartbreaking. How did you do that?
as Siddharth said, it's all in the writing. But the special fact, the special feature about Kaatal was that there was a lot of silence in the film. So that's something new I learned, that what dialogues do, they don't do enough. What I think silence can do much more. It was so beautiful. And I realized after watching the film that the chemistry between the husband and wife was without them touching each other, holding each other. I think often in cinema we mix chemistry for biology, right? And I think this was quite an eye-opener that, wow, we hardly speak in the film. We only like speak in the last scene. And I felt so much chemistry. And I think, yeah, as far as the last scene goes, even though I've played a lot of housewife roles down south, I felt this was something I've never done before. These dialogues were unsaid, were never spoken before. The relationship with each family member was so beautifully shown. And it's just the father-in-law and the daughter-in-law. They had a different equation because of a dad and a daughter. And the husband-wife, they didn't speak throughout the film. And I think every equation. So I think every moment the film was very new, very fresh. And yeah, on homosexuality, I mean, I think it's one of the first films which has come without showing any sexual scenes. It's just the feeling behind it. What does a family go through, when a son is that way? So I think it was very beautiful. We were all enjoying the newness of the film.
Yeah.
So I guess it's the writing. The writing was the hero of the film. And yeah, Mammootty sir, of course. I think this, I have to mention this about him. I've worked with almost all the superstars in South, but I think he's a real hero. And the first day I went to him and, I said, sir, how did you choose to play this role? And he was like, what is a hero? A hero is not someone who's hitting somebody, who's doing action and romance. A hero is someone who's trying different roles, who's getting into the act of different characters. That's a real hero. And I really wanted to applaud him because where he was, there was a lot to lose if it didn't go right. And I just thought he just went all out.
And specifically, Mamukka's last 2 years and the choices he's making
Absolutely.
are just mind-bending.
Yeah.
It's- He's just leaving vanity and ego at the door, and it's unbelievable what he's doing.
Yeah.
Just Nanpagal Mayakam and Kadal to this year is amazing to play that at his age, and the curiosity he has in discovering a new character is unmatched, I think.
Absolutely.
In the
Such a
in the
joy.
mainstream landscape. Yeah.
Such a joy. Vikrant, I think the scene, of course, that moved us all to tears was when Manoj Sharma finally clears that UPSC exam and then collapses with tears in his eyes, almost like, the burden of all those years has been lifted off. That expression was so special. How did you create that?
A lot of it actually goes to the director of the film, Vinod Chopra sir. So what we actually did was nearly 85% of the film was shot in sequence. So by the time we reached the result sequence, I had actually gone through the entire grind. So I'd already shot for more than a month. And as I said, I prepped quite a lot. We had numerous reading sessions, and I absolutely agree with Siddharth and Man that a lot of it is laid bare for you. But I feel that it was the burden. It was also his last attempt. The clasping of the knee that happened, it just happened automatically. And there is a line which Manoj says in the interview, which happens after the result scene, and this particular line is Vinod sir's favorite as much as it is mine. तो वो कहता है कि सर एडमंड हिलरी के बारे में सब जानते हैं, और लेकिन शेरपा एंग्रीटा के बारे में कोई नहीं जानता. वो पहले इंसान थे जो माउंट एवरेस्ट पे बिना ऑक्सीजन सिलेंडर के पहुंचे थे, और मैं भी यहाँ तक बिना ऑक्सीजन सिलेंडर के पहुंचा हूँ, वो भी नंगे पैर. So this statement encapsulates the spirit or the survival instinct which Manoj Kumar Sharma actually had. And he was pessimistic. He was not sure whether he's going to make it or not. But that particular collapse and वो एक जो burden था, वो उसके निकलने की देरी थी, and I think a lot of it helped because we shot the film in sequence. A lot of things come together. You really don't know how it works. Even in retrospect, you don't know how you end up doing it. But if you're present there and then at that point in time, I think your body responds automatically.
It emerges.
If you're thinking the right way, that's how it works for me. I'm not a trained actor, so I observe, I try, I journal a lot. So I go back to my journal for specific parts, and I think it kind of helps me.
Bobby, you're not a trained actor either. And when we met, so we met, of course, during Kareem, right? 25 years ago.
Yes.
And if anyone had said to me how your career panned out, I would have just said, no. It's like, what are you saying, right? Here you are, this great resurgence of Bobby Deol, playing these incredibly awful men so well. I have to say, when you started killing that man, I couldn't watch. Okay, where are you tapping into this tank of evil?
Like how Vikrant was saying, there's so much that happens in your life, and so many moments that you've been hurt, and the relationships you share with your family. So when I was doing this film and I was told the story, I didn't think I was the villain. I was told that I had a grandfather who committed suicide in front of me, and it was such a big shock that I lost my voice. So I swore that I will take revenge. Then I, in my mind, kept that, and I kept playing the character, and it was a moment because my family means everything to me. And you know my family, they all are really emotional people. But we'll do anything for each other. And I think these thoughts makes an actor perform, I feel. I mean, you cannot research, go into places, see how people behave there or there, because we're seeing it. I mean, I'm 54 now, I've seen so much in my life. And I've felt pain, I've felt happiness. And I know the joy of happiness, and I know the pain can really, drive you nuts. So when I was performing that scene, and I couldn't even speak, and if someone bloody kills my brother, I can become a savage. And that's the feeling that comes inside me, and came inside me, and I just, moved on. And it's just being, and when you watch the film, when me and Ranbir are fighting in the film, you will wonder who's the villain or who's the hero. Because his journey has been the same. People go through so much trauma in their lives, and that film brings out those elements, because a lot of people can't digest these kinds of films, and so many people just love the film. And I think my film is like doing amazing business, and that just proves it that people, because everything that is made, everything that's written is a reflection of what's happening in your society, So when people write, what makes them write all this is what they've seen and experienced in their lives. So I think I'm not much of a talker when it comes to being how does an actor, whatever talks, but I just felt that and I performed.
You feel it and you do it.
Yes, I just feel it and I do it.
And you're not judging your characters.
I don't, because I'm an actor, I'm playing someone else. So I don't judge them. Yeah, when I was doing Ashram, when I did Ashram, for me it was like I had to really prepare, because the kind of dialogues I had, I spent like 2 months learning the lines, and I had never done that because I wanted to understand every word I spoke. I couldn't just say them, And in that, my character was so evil, but yet I was portraying evil people like that which live in our society. So I wasn't trying to promote them. I was just trying to promote that our society has these kind of people existing, and we have to be very careful. That's what I thought in my mind. And yes, I used to feel disgusted with myself when I started shooting for it. But then I realized now playing an actor, why am I feeling so disgusted with myself? I was feeling icky. But फिर मैं उन्हीं लोगों के साथ जिनके साथ मैंने सीन में जो भी किया है, उनके साथ शाम को बैठ के हम लोग खाना खा रहे हैं, ये कर रहे हैं. Everything is normal.
In Love Hostel,
Love Hostel, you and me.
Yeah.
It was so much fun.
And how scary was he? Yeah?
Very scary.
Yeah.
Like we would shoot, he's killing 20 people in the day, और रात को हम बैठ के dinner कर रहे हैं साथ में. And we're talking about farming, and I'm like, oh my God.
I had to learn Haryanvi for that. I'm not very good at language. But it was fun.
Anybody who's met you even once can clearly see the departure from who you are in real life to any kind of evil you want to represent. For me, when Dharampaji tweeted or wrote, "My beautiful Bob," that's where you are as far as my generation is concerned. You are our beautiful Bob. No matter how revolting what you might do in a performance
no
is.
bad bone in his
beautiful
body.
Sari Paji, you know, the on-screen image is like, "Faad dunga, kaat dunga." You meet him and you're like, the softest
Even
man.
if his heart is not 2.5 kilo ka, you
speak,
believe
he
it's
doesn't-
2.5 kilo ka. It's like that. Sorry, 500 gram kam hai. It's not like that. मतलब दिखता है यार.
I know, but it's just that God has given me a second chance, and I'm very grateful.
Yeah.
And I don't want to lose any moment. I'm just trying to do different stuff and hoping that I get to do different stuff, because for an actor, that's what it is. I mean, like, nobody wants to be a star. I mean, yes, stardom comes with your work, you know, but I was a star when I started my career and I lost it. But I always believe that what happens with an actor in the industry is that you get stuck with an image, and then you cannot go beyond that. And no one has faith in you because they've seen you just playing these roles which are very much in your comfort zone, and they never give you anything else. So then I decided that I'm going to choose characters which are out of my comfort zone, because that brings the best out of me.
I want to talk a little bit about The Mirror, which is a short film that I was saying to Konkana that did and said more than many, many features. There was so much layered into that film. And there is this scene where you are caught. Your character, Ishita, gets caught watching her house help, Seema, on the bed with her husband. And then the two women have this confrontation, and the poor husband's just looking like mortified and doesn't know what to do. But your character she's first sort of flustered, then she's embarrassed, then she's shaming the other woman. It was just so many things happening at the same time. What was that like?
Great fun. I had to get to 44 to get a part like that. That's the bummer, you know. But I guess that's the thing. You know, you wait for something like that, no? You wait for a scene in which there are so many forces pulling at the written word. And I guess I had to wait that long to get a part like that. But when you do get it, it's you feel the electricity, you know, really flow through your body. Pooja Tolani and Konkana wrote, The Mirror. And like every actor here has said, and I really think it's not something out of a sense of fake humility or trying to just the writers. There is really nothing an actor can do unless it's not written, you know. And I think the more our industry values the writers, we as actors will get to play parts that are complex and that reaches people's hearts, you know. So in this particular case, again, every punctuation was rehearsed. And Coco loves rehearsing. It's not my favorite way of rehearsing. I'm always afraid that if you rehearse too much, but I trust her entirely. And I'm happy to go with whatever is her process. I've already worked with her before. And she also knows that I don't like rehearsing too much. So I think that mutual respect was there. And then she rehearsed it, so even the pitch was decided. Because, it starts with the two women performing a fight. Because they know what's going on. It's the husband who doesn't know, right?
Right.
So we have to just find kya kari thi. But then it actually gets serious. Then once it actually gets serious, so there was a change in tonality from it being a performance to it actually getting real and then getting out of hand. And all that was there. It was like
It's all on the page.
Every beat was, even the pitch with which we will hit a note. It was like a sonic note. Like I wanted to reach that high. Now, and I haven't, because, like Vikrant said, we haven't gone to an NSD or an FTII. I've not gone to any acting school. And you just pick up things from life. And in that moment, it was quite technical, but have felt a sense of inferiority. I've also felt a sense of superiority, and all that, the class dynamic, the power dynamic, all that comes in. But it was really fun to do because there was a image of, I don't know if you remember in the film, this Chipkali that goes.
Of course.
Yeah, but this Chipkali comes and darts and then goes here and goes there. And so when I did that scene and like my pajamas were down, I have to tie it up, I felt like the Chipkali. Suddenly after the scene, I was like, Coco, did I look like a lizard? Because I was totally channeling this lizard that's darting, you know, to find safety, but there's nowhere to
Doesn't
hide.
know where to go. Yeah, yeah.
And you know, you started this game, now you have to finish it. You know, and I knew, and we had discussed a lot, that there's a line she says that who will they believe?
Yeah.
You know, that when the fight, at the end of it, the last card that she has, and she pulls out class.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and that moment itself was so, we already knew in the writing that it's loaded, that we didn't want to underline it, you know, and the whole scene then just took its own, I don't think I've explained this question at all properly. I'm only more confused than when I was on set. But anyway, but I don't think, Anupama, you can pick out a scene and ask an actor, how did you do this?
Right.
Because I am sure editor ने कुछ तो घोचू किया है उसमें अपना acting ठीक करने के लिए, lighting सब कुछ director ने, DOP ने, everyone's come together to make something
Don't
work.
take the credit away from yourself.
And it's like Rashomon, what happened between action and cut, everybody will have a different version of it, right? Because we think we remember, but we don't even remember it entirely.
I think so. It's just looking at it from your perspective.
Yeah.
What makes it work? Who knows? So many things.
Well, Jaideep, trained actor.
Doesn't work.
आगे सर मुद्दे पे आगे सर
The only trained actor, I think,
Muddhe
amongst
pe aa
all
gaye.
of us.
Yeah? Are you? So, Jaideep, you're the only one? Everybody else? is-
Again, then I'll take Karina's the most trained actor here.
No, that's
she's
because that's
worked
out of
with the-
experience.
She's
that's
worked
all.
with the
But
best
he's
teachers of
trained-
acting that even better than Jaideep,
No,
according
but
to me.
he's
I have
done the
worked with a
whole-
lot of them, but again, because training is, if you say it's an academic institution, then that's a whole other conversation.
Correct. That's too
So, yeah.
narrow a definition of
Correct.
training.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
If an actor has to go from A to B in a scene,
Yeah.
he has to know what buttons need to be pushed, whether by him or by somebody else, for him to go in that distance.
Correct. Yeah.
So I think that's very subjective. But yes, clearly, I hugely worship his craft. So I would, I'm a big fan. He knows that. I like to embarrass him whenever I get the chance. But yeah.
So, Jaideep, of course, you were amazing as teacher. But I want to talk about a scene in The Three of Us, which was such a beautiful film. It's your character sitting with Shifali Shah's character on that Ferris wheel. और वो रुक गया है. And she's losing her memory. And at one point, the two of you cared for each other. And then she says, I'm going to forget. And you say, I'll remember it. And you start to cry. And oh my God, it is just so devastating. What do you remember about it?
भाई कैसे
Breeze.
कर लेते हो भाई आप?
I remember the breeze. I don't know. मुझे भी नहीं पता था क्या हो रहा था. But I think what helped in a sense that the script के साथ रहना जितना लंबे टाइम तक रह पाओगे, it will give you something in the sense that something in your heart and mind which makes you do something very organically and very truthful to the character. Never rehearsed that scene. Went up and we started saying lines. It's like, for me, I remember saying this to myself, this is the scene where I'm going to propose, actually, which never happened in the entire life. The thread is कि जो 7वीं क्लास में नहीं कह पाया वो आज कह, but in a very different world now, with very different people now. So that line is that I love. Basically, in my mind, it's I love. The way she said it, कि अब मैं चीजें भूलने लगी हूँ, वो बोलता है कि मैं याद, अभी तक तुम थी नहीं याद. I think it's very beautifully written lines जो हम शायद अपनी ऑनेस्टी के साथ कह देते हैं तो वो पहुंच जाती है. That's the beauty of good writing. आप कुछ बहुत ज़्यादा कर नहीं रहे होते हो, आप उसको करप्ट नहीं करते. कि मैं इसमें कुछ ऐसा परफॉर्म करूंगा कि लोगों को लगेगा कि that's where the substance
Correct.
because there's so much emotion in that, in those lines. If you put extra emotions into it, the mixture is bad. There's only namak hai उसमें. तो आपने अगर आधा चुटकी भी एक्स्ट्रा डाला तो वो खराब हो जाए.
That'll come from we start thinking it's a big scene. Like I was saying, no, it's a big scene, so we have to do a
Yeah.
little.
Yeah. Have to
That's
kill
the worst
it.
part.
That's where you get caught. Huh.
It's not about the big scene. Every day is like,
Yeah.
So you have to know exactly kitna namak.
no, you have to taste it.
Yeah.
Don't know it, feel it. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
right. Let it go. बह जाने दो आपके तुम. It's like I told this. Don't try to be the creator of it. Just let it pass through you in the utmost honesty. It is there written very nicely. If it's not, then you have to do something about it.
And you'll have a dependency of you'll have somebody on the set. A lot of us will have a director. I just keep looking. I'm not a monitor person. I keep staring at the director. The director says one more, okay, one more. The director says,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, he's happy.
Yes, yes.
She's
Same.
happy. Let's move on.
Yeah.
I look at all the time. Avinash का चेहरा देखने. When he's
I just
watching
keep
the
looking
monitor,
at
I just look at him. Oh, this is good.
Yeah.
Moment Sudeep Sharma के चेहरे पर देख लो. When he was looking at the monitor during Patal Lok. Sujoy da. You look at his face and you know that it's
Yeah.
done.
Sujoy to never looked at the monitor. He used to sit and look at the face. Huh? Down, yeah. Yeah, he's watching you like that.
You know it's going good.
It's going well.
He doesn't
Yeah.
know.
You know, Karina, you were asked in an interview that what has changed in the Kapoor family in the 23 years that you've been acting. And you said the actors have become better. Now there's Ranbir.
I mean, I think scored, huh?
I
He's
thought
such
that
a
was
fine
fabulous.
artist.
He's a phenomenal.
He's a phenomenal
He is.
actor.
He is, absolutely. But my question is that having seen stardom at such close proximity for 2 decades, over 2 decades, do you think that at least Hindi cinema, are we at that point where you need to now be a good actor to be a great star?
110%. And I'm
We're-
so
we're
happy
finally there?
that finally, I think so.
Yeah.
And I hope we are. Because like everyone said right now, that it should just be, it's like hand in glove. If you're great and you are talented, people like you, they've connected with you, stardom will follow. ये नहीं है कि अभी wow, he's got a 6-pack, he's looking so hot, अरे बहुत बड़ा star है, अरे please यार. Sometimes I feel like telling those actors that अरे यार t-shirt पहन लो पहले. I can't even, I'm just like, can't even look at you right now. So it's like literally. So I think now it's all about, it's about that, no? It's about, it had to be there. Like, if you're a good actor, you're going to survive,
Yeah, I mean, actors'
The
inning
long
is
time.
always longer than a star's inning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I
That's what I
mean,
believe.
Bobby, for that matter, now he's doing different characters. He's exploring his talent, which, I think maybe he's always had. And now, finally, of course, he's getting this opportunity. So I think that you can't
But that's
shut a good actor.
But that's the biggest struggle for actors, to get parts which
Yeah.
make them show what we are made
But I
of.
think now is the time. It's
But you
somehow
would have
like,
faced this, no? Sometimes when you become a star of a certain
Yeah.
size, let's call it, it makes it impossible for you to do certain roles.
Because he's
Right?
stuck with
So
the
because if
image.
they're going to start clapping the moment they see you, then the
Yeah.
protagonist doesn't get to build.
But I
at
know
least
a
but
lot of
then
people
opening when you
have-
start clapping, then for example, your character, it's not a theatrical, but imagine in the mirror that you got claps and whistles the moment you came on screen, and then for you to go through your journey as the individual that you are might have been difficult to accept. So it goes hand in hand as well. Stardom,
And
impediments,
I'm telling you, during Jaane Ja, somebody who saw the film was like, "Arey, why did you do this dark film?" People have come up to me and asked me. They're like,
did you
because
do
we
this?
are used to seeing you, they want that. So they've
Why
come
did
up
you do
and-
this dark
yes,
film?
they are. So I'm just like, I don't even want to talk to you. It's like that. I'm like, why did you watch it? Because they just believe that, okay, this is her image. So they've, just built this image about me that she has to do this certain kind of role. So I have had people who come and told me that. So there are, of course, people still like
No,
that.
for example, in our film, I'm accused of doing something absolutely unthinkable. And somebody said, you self-funded this film where you get accused of this. Is something wrong with you? I said, I don't understand this question. If you're trying to create a human being who's not been seen on screen before, then if you judge him at the get-go, then what's the difference between us and the front bencher, for example? Right? So that's a huge, we all get asked this question, don't you want to do the bravado stuff, Joe? That's so, what Bobby sir is saying is correct. Stardom will not see the longevity that acting will, but you have to hold your ground for long enough for that to come true. And it's very easy every year to get pulled away on the other side. And we had to do like annual balance sheets saying, no, I still didn't do those things I said I would not do. And that's each individual's integrity journey, let's call it. Like, I will do this or I won't do this.
Yeah, Jyotika, is that how it works for you? Is there a balance sheet?
Yeah, there's a lot you have to say no to also. I mean, which is popular cinema. I think in where women are concerned, it's a different battle altogether.
Yeah.
Especially down south. I mean, we see, you know, when as you become 35, 40, there are lesser options, and you do see that if you're doing well, then you're typecasted. Like personally for me, if I'm speaking about myself, I did a lot of good roles. I was a crusader who ran a government school. I played housewife. I did everything good. There was no room for grey. There was no room for probably a film with an extramarital affair. I'm just, you know, giving examples. So I opted to do a Malayalam film instead, and that brought me here. You know, my journey is all through Tamil, but a Malayalam film has brought me here, sitting with such lovely actors on this. So you don't know where. I just guess you have to flow. You have to flow. You can't be stagnant and swim in a pond.
Yeah.
You know, there's an ocean out there. And it's time we all, you know, get in there, dive, and just discover what's happening.
Yeah.
For women, I think you have to say no to a lot of things, right, Karina? I'm sure to the popular, because 90% of the time, if you frankly ask me, it doesn't make sense what the girls are doing there. So I have like consciously taken this decision since last 10 years. When women walk out of my film, they should walk out with their head held high. I mean, even if she's great, you know, I'm not saying she has to be a good woman, but I just like them to see themselves like the way the men do. You know, they like to cheer for an action, they like a punch dialogue, I'm talking about the larger cinema for the larger crowd. I just like it that say no to things which don't make sense to you. So I think it's a journey, and it has its own ups and downs, but your choice is what determines it.
Absolutely.
Superb.
But speaking of ponds and seas, I have to share with all of you Siddharth's description of what it's like to be an actor. Okay, so in an interview you said that it's like being on a boat with 3 holes in the middle of the ocean. So there's no point at which you will say, lovely sunset, let me take in the sights. You're just busy taking the water out to stay afloat. Is this true?
That
Is
might
the
have been
float.
my experience as an actor-producer also, because the third hole and the biggest hole will be the
hole.
producer's hole.
Oh,
Ki
God.
please, meri naiya na doob jaye, you know.
But is this what an actor is being like? Does anybody relate with this boat and 3 holes?
I don't know how many, but yeah.
There are holes
You're
for
always
sure.
busy. नहीं छोड़ ये बात में देख लूंगा, तू मेन फोकस पे ध्यान दे. Because that's like, yeah, वो बाहर की दुनिया को दिखाई दे रहा है. आपका काम कुछ और है. ये सब नहीं है, ये काम नहीं है. ये एक्चुअली ऐसा लगता है कि यार ये फिर से बोलना पड़ेगा अपने काम के बारे में. फिर से.
Correct.
Because it's part of your life, but actual work is something else. वो कोई नहीं दिखता, वो किसी को नहीं दिखता है. It's like nobody sees.
No, and what ultimately holds how long the boat is afloat.
Yeah.
Like we're talking now, we are still not sunk. And that's what I constantly feel about it. Because it's so subjective. I don't think that somebody else doesn't deserve to be in the position that I am. Anybody who can do this job should be able to be platformed for it. So, you know, it's not that I'm entitled, it should only come to me, but the business makes you think like that. Everything should come to me, and anything that's not coming to me is an injustice. You feel very sad, you know, weak and insecure, and then you have to fight past that while trying to stay afloat. So I think that's.
But I feel that this generation of actors, I think they are a little more conscious. I feel everyone's trying to, like, even if they're doing the popular films also, but they're also doing very, very strong parts in them. Ranveer, for example. And I think everyone is very, very now, somehow they're all good actors out there. I think, you know.
I think OTT platform has really
Yeah.
done a great job in doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, we all love cinema. The magic of cinema is something
Bringing
else
people
altogether.
together and
I mean, but OTT is something which is made you recognize the talent what exists, which never gets a chance to be taken in cinema. I mean, all of us somewhere feel that. I mean, it's. I have so many friends who I became friends with in ashram, great actors, and it was so nice to see them being recognized. You know, and then I mean, even in Love Hostel.
Yeah.
You know, I mean.
No,
you
no.
get
Also,
opportunity-
calling someone a good actor is no longer a euphemism for he's not a star.
Correct.
Like the
Yeah.
parallel cinema, alternative cinema,
That's right.
thinking man's actor. What does that mean? Women-centric film. I don't get any of these words. Today there's good acting and bad acting. If you're a bad actor, you'll be called a bad actor. And if you're a good actor, all the efforts you put will be congratulated.
I love thinking man's actor. That's just fab.
What the hell does that mean? The one that makes 200 crores is the one that left the brain at home. But you're a thinking man's actor which collected 40 lakhs. That makes no sense.
Yeah, these are just now, I
That's a
think,
good one.
like,
Descriptions, no?
मैंने जब पहली बार ये वर्ड सुना था मुझे 30 सेकंड लगे समझने कि कहना क्या चाह रहा है. What is thinking actor? मतलब and he's trying to explain.
Bro, it's amazing. They give you the worst insult of your life in the form of a compliment. You're very good, but maximum 2 out of 6,000 people will enjoy it. ऐसे थोड़ी ना.
thinking man's actor. Or women-centric.
And then they'll say India में कोई
women-centric
thinking man ही नहीं है,
yeah.
तो we are stuck.
Yeah, yeah. No,
इसीलिए हमारे fans
women-centric
नहीं हैं.
films also I
Women-centric,
feel
yeah.
we should do away with.
Yeah,
Yeah,
lot of people
enough.
say,
Yeah,
अभी
what's
आप
the
थोड़ा
women-centric
women-centric films कर रहे हो ना? But what is your feeling? Why don't you tell men that also? That they also do these hero-centric.
Yeah,
So, I mean,
yeah,
like-
absolutely. You know, Vikram Motwani's series Jubilee, which was also set in the film industry. It was late 40s, early 50s. There's a lovely, lovely line in there where one of the characters says, God is unfair क्योंकि हुनर और कामयाबी में इतना फासला नहीं होना चाहिए. Right, but the truth is in this business, फासला है. And so many of you, I mean, Jaideep, for you, the distance between gangs and Patal Lok or Tilotma for you or Vikram, it's taken you 10 years of doing feature films to finally deliver that theatrical hit. What does it take to just hang in there? You know, to just say ki apna time aayega and we will keep going.
I think a lot of things come into play, and I think it's a daily thing that happens. The people you work with, the validation you get, your own self belief. Of course, yes, you have to back yourself. But I think persistence is key. It begins with self belief. I know what I can do. I know how good I am. It's just a matter of time. Like when I started off in cinema, I was the quintessential hero ka dost. For the first 5 years, that's all I did. But even then, my priority was to be there present at that point in time, justify the part I've been hired for, and back myself. There will come a time when a Vinod Chopra or a Konkana will see what I am capable of. And I will be presented with the opportunity I rightfully deserve. So persistence is key. But I would want to also go back to what Bobby Sir said, and he's so right. I am actually a byproduct of television. Like I have done 10 years of television and 10 years of cinema. I nearly have 20 years of experience at the age of 36. Even when I was doing TV, I very consciously tried to do the alternate performances, not do the cliche
The thinking
stuff.
man's performance.
The thinking man's performance.
Thinking
always tried
Thinking
to
actor.
tried to do something which was different.
Yeah.
My idea has, or that's how I see it. I'm still learning. I, as an actor, have always aspired to break through people's defense mechanisms because we all have that. Or I read this somewhere. I think it was by Stephen King. He said, as a writer, you try listening to the silences in a conversation and then write about those silences.
Beautiful.
And that is what I aspire to do as an actor. Like whether it is Shuntu or whether it is Manoj or whether it is Bablu from Mirzapur. So it begins with self-belief. And I think OTT has presented multiple opportunities to me as well.
Yeah.
It was TV, it was OTT, because the lines are blurred. Like I was in an interview last week but there is a class system, TV actor hai, film actor hai, choti film hai, badi film hai. I despise that. I think you should classify a film as a good film or a bad film.
Yeah, true.
An actor, and I kind of went on a rant. I mean, I said, why don't you call those superstars TV actors who are on television 6 months a year all the time. Even they are TV actors, right? So वो class system को हटाने की कोशिश रही है मेरी, and also because I was always seen as a TV actor, and I had my own angst. I think that also kind of really sort of fueled me to move forward, face multiple failures, yet stand by myself, believing that I can do this. Because of COVID, a lot of regional cinema was acquired by major digital platforms. And it was during COVID that, it was the Amazons and the Netflix. उसके पहले regional cinema को कोई platform था ही नहीं. बॉम्बे में कोई तमिल फिल्म इतनी स्केल पे रिलीज नहीं होती थी, या कोई छोटी फिल्म नहीं होती थी. Like in Angamali Diaries was not releasing in a city like Mumbai. It was only through an OTT platform we got to know about that film. So people started acquiring, those platforms started acquiring regional cinema. Now, today, it started off being politically correct, but now we've sort of made it a habit to call it Indian cinema. Regional cinema hota tha, Tamil cinema hota tha, pan-India film. वो भी मुझे समझ में नहीं आता actually. But that's how it is. So OTT has also presented an opportunity to me for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But it's almost like a door-to-door medium. Statistics-wise, if we are to see, more than 70% of online content is consumed on your 9-inch mobile phone.
I think OTT has also helped people who have been referred to as Southwala for the last 18 years in Bombay. That there are more than one state, there are 5 states, and there are multiple languages. That education has happened because of OTT, and we are very grateful for it.
Yeah.
So now I get कि तुम South वो तमिल वाले हो, मलया केरला वाले, Kerala. I at least have that second conversation. I feel very, very honored to have those conversations. So, yeah.
But Bobby, what is it like to have that level of euphoria and start it, lose it, and then work your way back? What is the resilience required for that?
Well, I've been pretty open about what I went through in my life. I think everybody must have heard of it, but I think self-belief.
No, what is the strength? What did you tell yourself?
Self-belief. Because I knew when I was a star, why was I a star? There was something about me. There was something about some feature, some quality in me as a person that people got so hooked on to.
Yeah.
And when things don't go your way, you start believing in yourself, and that's when everything goes wrong. And once something sparks you and snaps you out, like my family did, I mean, for me, seeing my kids wondering, mom's working, you're not working. See, that's how we actors are. We have to feel some emotion, and that's how we perform. And there's certain moments in our personal life when we're not actors, we are people, and how they affect us. And I just said, no, man, I am Bobby Deol. I have so much to give. I'm just going to work hard, be positive. Be prepared so that if anyone comes knocking on my door, I can't say, oh, aage abhi main kaise karunga ye? You have to be very ready, And that's what I believe, that's how I look at life. I think hard work turns into luck. There's nothing like luck. If you keep sitting at home and waiting for luck to happen, then it's all over for you. Animals, not everyone can watch it, but then there's something that's so special that's happened with that film that everybody's watching it.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see it in the box office collection. And I think why it's happening is because people can, when you relate to a film, when you relate to moments in a film and the way it's been written, I mean, Sandeep Reddy is like, he creates his own kind of a world, and when the actors perform, he brings those elements which exist, but people in our culture find it taboo or find it a little too much, but so it becomes difficult to digest those kind of things because a lot that happens around us which is horrible, we don't want to talk about it, and everybody in our lives has gone through those moments. So I mean, I was like excited. I mean, even the scene when I was doing, the scene I did where I put my finger here, I didn't rehearse for it. I was just told that this is what happens and this is what you're going to do, and you speak in the sign language, like this, and do this and this. I'm like, okay, fine. I knew the dialogues because I had to practice the sign language. So when I just went and did that shot, I mean, I'm not trying to boast about myself, but it was just a one take. Okay, the guy, everybody started clapping. I'm like, मैंने कुछ सही कर क्या किया मैंने क्या किया ये सब तालियां क्यों बजा रहे हैं? Then Sandeep comes up to me and he says, what a shot, an award winning shot. I'm like, इतने साल से मैं काम कर रहा हूँ, कभी मेरे को कोई एक्टर बोलता नहीं था और ये मुझे बोल रहा है ये, मैं तो इतना खुश हुआ लेकिन अंदर से फिर भी सोच रहा हूँ कि या तो मुझसे हो नहीं रहा तो उसने बोल दिया व्हाट अ शॉट. So that was my experience, and it now wherever I go now I see the change in people around me.
Yeah.
You know, and I had the stardom which I lost, but the love I never lost the love of the audiences. I mean, I have such loving fan following that loves my dad, my brother and me. So now they're happy. They're happy because their Bobby is doing work which everybody is enjoying. You know, so I say thank to God because I mean, it's just amazing. This year has been amazing for my family.
Yeah.
It has.
Yeah.
It has. My
I mean,
goodness.
my dad did Rocky and Rani, and he was so loved. Then my brother, Gadar 2 mein aur bhi Gadar macha di.
Yeah.
And then my film came out, and also my Rajveer's film came out, my nephew's.
Yeah.
So it didn't do well, but it's the first time in the history. I mean, I don't know if in the history, but it was like the Kapoors were always,
Yeah.
you know, there were so many of you.
Yeah. Now
You know,
the
and now
Deols
suddenly in 1 year, 3 generations of Deols were
On screen.
on screen in 1 year.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
Wow. Really.
So
Really.
it's just been a phenomenal year. And then, you know, I always wanted to work with Ranbir. For me, I think I've always loved him as his work. And when I was working with him, it was so mesmerizing working with him. You know, he's such an amazing guy. I mean, I'm saying this because I want to say it, that even when you were promoting the film, he made me feel so special. You know, he just made me feel so special. Like, मैंने कितनी फिल्में की, कितने एक्टर्स के साथ काम किया, and they always want to be the one. But when I was with Ranbir, we went to Delhi, we went here, he would drag me with, you have to come with me. And he gave me so much respect, and God bless him, seriously.
That's so nice. I love Grace. Tilottama, what has your experience been like?
So, you know, I thought in 2000 when I got Monsoon Wedding, it was my debut film. And it was such a phenomenal cast and an amazing director and an amazing experience.
And a great
an
film.
Amazing film.
Yeah.
And out of 60, a cast of 60, they chose 2 people to travel with the film internationally. And it was Nasir Saab and me. And I'd never sat on a plane before. I'd never stepped out of the country before, you know. Now I'm thinking, this is why people want to be an actor. It's a good life, man. It's a really good life. And I was following anyway my academic path, you know, which I had, which was to do my master's in literature. And then the first film happened, and it was so like Venice, London, Toronto, la-di-da. And I thought, this is it. I just have to sit at home, and people are going to call me, and then work will come, I'll go do it.
and travel the world.
Then travel the world, eat cannolis and drink espressos. And the calls never came, you know, because I was also so cut off. There was no one in my family from, in the arts or in acting. And after Monsoon Wedding, I did another film. I started getting a few calls, and that was Anurag Kashyap. I have to give it to him. He was the one director from Bombay who kept calling me, you know, and asking if I would move to Bombay. And I was like, no, I have to study. I'm going to do my master's. And he said, then? I said, then I'm going to do my PhD. And my life is, you know, already planned. And I did follow that plan. I didn't look back. It was wonderful to have that kind of validation, which Monsoon Wedding gave me. But I was quite certain that I wanted to study. And it's once I finished studying that I chose to come back here. And everyone met me once because of, the Monsoon Wedding girl, you know. But after that, there was a long silence. And I didn't know how it works. And it would be, what started coming in was small parts in international films. That's how I managed to pay my rent. And I looked at each of those opportunities as I'm just going to get, you know, people get to write the whole page in a book. I'm going to only get the margins. Because that was my relationship with the industry in Bombay. That we exist in the margins, we do independent films that are hard to fund, even harder to release, and there will be me, my family who will watch it, and a few friends, you know. And it'll only be seen internationally, and it doesn't matter even if internationally you win in A-list festivals like Cannes.
No.
I mean, Sir won the distribution award at Cannes. It still didn't make a difference in India, you know. So I was very used to going to gatherings of the industry where, you know, a kind friend would take me along and no one even comes and says hello, or if you go and say hello to someone, they, you know, just walk past you. And it used to really bother me because I never looked down on myself. I never felt there was anything lacking, you know. And I didn't even choose I didn't come here to be a star. And I don't know what it takes to be a star either. I just know that there is something for me in performance that is therapeutic. It helped me get over my stammer. I have a very active imagination. It helps me release that. It's cathartic. It is something I decided only in my mid-30s that it's something I want to do professionally. You know, I have other careers that I had planned for myself, which were very academic. But this wait, that time, it really was a mental game, you know. That why does it matter so much that your colleagues, that you don't have any colleagues, that you don't have a fraternity, you don't have an alumni, you know, in India, not part of NSD, not part of FTI, not part of, you know. And so to anyone who thinks, I would say if any actors watching this, that if you think that because you don't have an alumni and you don't have friends in the fraternity, I know it can feel like, what is the way ahead then? But I mean, I'm here because those small parts added up.
Yeah.
You know, those small parts, my family, you know, my mentor, they gave me so much hope. I have such a loving partner, you know, and I have so many other interests. And I remember Irfan telling me when I was going through the worst time, you know, and he had so much work, you know, I remember him telling me that don't be a tragedy queen. No one likes being around someone who is unhappy. You have every right to be unhappy that you're not getting your due. But don't wear that on the sleeve. Keep it on the inside. Nobody cares. And people want to be around someone who's happy. So really to work on that, building that inner resilience and joy. That even if, you know, I never make it to whatever the commercial stage is, the mainstream. And anyway, all that got smashed with COVID, you know.
Exactly.
With the fight to survive itself became so precious.
Yeah.
And my mom got diagnosed with cancer anyway, then none of it mattered.
Yeah.
None of this whole thing. I was quite okay to thrive in the margins. And I have to say this, that there are moments that happen in your life where when I remember there was an interview my brother sent me where Kareena very graciously recently mentioned of the actor, I don't know what she was asked, but she mentioned
female
Rasika
performance.
and my name as actors that excite her. And, you know, these slender bridges or being invited to a film fair or being nominated or even winning, forget winning, I was just so happy to be included in the room, to have an invitation. You know, that you feel like while you can only be who you are, most authentically, you can only be who you are and be who you are. But I feel like this whole independent cinema and this commercial cinema and this divide is very violent. You know, when someone like her reaches out, it creates a bridge.
Yeah.
She can walk on it, I can walk on it. That's the thing, that's a bridge. You know, that's what it does. And I would love to live more in that world where a Bobby Deol and a Tilotma can sit on the same couch, you know, and we can all be in the same room.
I am lucky to sit next
I'm
to you.
lucky to sit
I'm happy to sit next to you. I love your work.
Yeah.
You know, I'm honored sitting here with all of you.
Okay, now you're going to make me cry, everyone.
He's a very thinking
I
actor.
want to sit on the couch with both of you.
Yeah.
He's a thinking
You want to come
actor
on
and
this
person.
couch now. Everybody's on this couch.
Yes.
Two
How
emotional
lovely.
scenes. I know.
No, how lovely. And applause to that. Thank you. Really, thank you. And the North and the South. I think that's another divide that needs to just be thrown out.
He's already
There's no
said
divide.
We've
Wala.
said this 20 years ago, saying this cross. They used to ask it, when are you going to cross over to the West? I said, can you please cross over inside the country? It's enough of this.
South wala.
South.
Who is a living Indian actor who you admire? And if you could ask him or her one question, what would that be? Karina?
I just said that I hate these ones because I'm just like thinking.
बहुत मुश्किल सवाल होते हैं.
Kyun? Koi? Somebody you
living
admire?
actor.
I like Tabu.
Okay, what would you answer?
She's very elusive. I like the mystery.
Yeah.
I like that she doesn't answer all her questions.
But what would you ask her?
I actually, I have no, if I actually met her when I did meet her, I had nothing to ask. I was just watching her. I like the fact that she's mysterious, you know, and so I wouldn't ask her anything because I'd like the mystery to live, and there's something enigmatic about her which excites me.
Yeah.
And that, yeah.
Yeah. Karina?
I'm still thinking. So.
I will ask probably a few questions to Mr. Bachchan. For
Jaise?
so many reasons. Like how did he hold his own when the going went tough for him? It really got tough on him, and everyone knows about it. He held his own. Like the biggest superstar in the country, goes through a lull, revives himself again. There are so many things. Like how does he? I watch KBC every day with my family, and it is like a regular middle class routine. Every night at 9 o'clock, we watch KBC. Like how does he do that? And like I aspire to work like him till I'm 80, 85 because I think acting is the only thing I can do. I've always aspired to be an actor, and thankfully I am. So like because I also recognize the transient nature of our business. You know, aaj hai, kal nahi hai. And I've tasted it very early in my life. So even when today tell me, you know, wow, your film is a box office success, like I don't take it very seriously because I know ki it's very difficult to sort of keep doing the same thing or better it from here on. There will come a time wherein I might not hit the mark. So Amitabh Bachchan is the right person for me because I aspire to be like him, work like him. And you know, and I definitely believe in this thing. You know, there's this very famous author called Ryan Holiday. He says, discipline is destiny.
Yeah.
You know, like you make your own destiny, but discipline is destiny, and especially when it's tougher on you. How do you hold yourself? So many things about craft, about his punctuality. He's very famous for his punctuality. So many things.
Nice, nice. Jaideep, you're looking away.
मेरा आंसर इसने चुरा लिया.
Tabu?
Yeah. Irfan Saab, any, but Tabu, and I won't ask her anything. I just want to see her working, especially, but she's into the scene and working. And no, I have no question for her.
You just want to watch her work.
Yeah.
Yeah, too. Yeah.
I want to work with her.
Nice.
I don't know, something is there. Nobody knows. She knows somehow. Yeah. वो या तो बताते नहीं या वो बताना चाहते हैं. Do. But there's something inside her which makes you feel every time you see her on screen or even not out. It makes me happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every time I look at her, makes me just happy.
Jyotika?
I think my list is long. There is definitely Amit ji on top, and then there's Mammootty sir, there's Mr. Kamala Hassan. I think I just want to ask them which point in their career did they want to start giving back to cinema. I think that's something not all the top actors understand. There is something which you need to take with you, but there's a time you have to give back.
You have to pay it forward.
Yeah, and I think that giving back is beautiful. And so I think there are few men who've given back. So at what point did that transition happen? And that would be my question to them.
Yeah.
To start giving back than just taking away.
Nice. Nice. Siddharth?
In context-wise, I'm here because of a film called Chitta. And I've always said in my interviews, it took me 22 years since I came into the business to make this film. And I think I made this film because of everything adds up. So I assisted Mani Ratnam on a film called Kanathil Mithumattal 22 years ago. And that's a film about a child, a female child, 9 years old, trying to find out about her birthmark. And then I saw a film called Mahanadi by Mr. Kamal Haasan when I was 13 years old. And my dad took me to see that film on the first day. And I sat in the theater and I cried. And it still stays with me. So those things kind of add up and make you the filmmaker you are. And Today I self-fund my own films. My savings go into my production cost. And so my favorite actor would clearly be my guru, Kamal Haasan. Nothing to ask him because I already annoy him with enough questions every day because I have access to him. Yay. So I get to ask him whatever. But the repeating patterns of what I ask him, because the last 10 years I've spent for personal and professional reasons to eliminate fear from my psychology, because it helps to live without that fear. So it helps you work and be a better person and a better artist. So I keep asking him, because I have his filmography on the table in front of me. And I also asked the same question to Mr. Maniratnam as my other guru in direction. What did you guys do to eliminate fear in order to make the decisions you made when you made them? And it helps me to kind of learn from that history and be better at what I do and what I try to do.
Wow.
Because I always say, if not for Kamal Haasan, there would be very high chance that I would not exist as an actor. Because he took all the risks that, I mean, we can't even scratch the surface of what he was risking when he did what he was doing. Like the way I compliment Mr. Mammootty for doing Gadal the Core at his age now, I can do that for the last 40 years of Kamal Haasan. So I think that's what I owe him, is to live with even less fear going forward when I choose my content, and to keep repeating that I want to be an actor, not a star. Which is something I learned from him.
Yeah. And I'm very lucky in that sense because I worked with Kamal sir with one film, Vishwarupam, 2 parts of it. And I annoyed him maybe like thousands of questions every single day.
He loves it.
Walking
It's
and-
very highly.
He loves it. He has like millions of stories about cinema. And the Jyotia said that what time of point they started giving back. I think they always had that thought of giving back the day they will be, ready to. They have that resources. He had always earned money from a film and bought the cameras, film cameras.
Yeah.
Like from the very start, a star of a 23, 21-year-old left the film industry, went to learn the makeup for 1 year and came back and did amazing work with that. He did
He
everything.
produced his 100th film, and it was about a visually impaired violinist.
More than 100 songs with Bala sir.
It's incredible.
It is incredible. It is incredible.
I used to think a person of one life can't do this much of 60 years. You can't do this.
Yeah.
And if you've
This
seen
is
his
sheer
recent promo
madness.
video with both of my bosses are making a film together, which is yay for
Oh
all
my
of us.
God, yes.
And he's gone on set and they've broken fourth wall and they've shot a scene in reverse, and I'm like, wow.
They are
They're challenging each other
another
at
level
this
there.
age. It makes you feel so inadequate. So I finished Indian 2 with him.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I haven't worked with him on a film set ever except for that one experience, and he was only the actor on that set. And you'd be amazed at the humility he brings to a film set.
Yeah.
He doesn't speak when the director speaks, he just listens. I mean, for somebody who knows so much and who's done so much, to find that what he is on a film set, just incredible. So I mean, it's really great to have those kind of idols, because it really tells you that you can always be so much better.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bobby, who would you ask and want?
I'm lucky. I was son of a legend.
Yeah.
So I've never needed to go out or think about someone else to ask a question, because he's my father and he's an actor. And I have not seen any actor who can act as well as him. Not because he's my father, because he has done variations of, different characters. In 1 year, he would have 3 films and he would be playing different characters. And if you see his whole graph of how many hits he's given, I don't think anyone's given so many hits in his life. I've seen him go through his ups and downs. And if I ever want to ask, he's been telling me things since I was a kid. So I never felt the need to ask someone else. Yes, I'm fans of a lot of actors like Kamal Haasan. I used to love him.
Yeah.
I still do. And I still remember as a kid, we went to watch one of his films in which he plays a double role. He has one brother who's mentally challenged, and so we made the remake. My dad was a hero called Gazab, and I loved the film, but it didn't do well. But it's just, I'm just blessed. If I have to ask any other person, it's my brother.
Right.
So
So you don't have to go far.
I don't have to go out of my house. We live together.
Yeah. True.
Karina, last word to you. You had a long time to think about it.
I did. But the truth is that I also live with one of my most favorite actors, which is Seth, who's also quite a cinematic mind himself because he watches so much of a lot of movies, and we discuss a lot of movies, a lot of films. Sometimes he's also quite path-breaking because he's actually one of the first actors who went to the OTT platform with Sacred Games.
Yeah.
So I think he has quite a crazy mind also as an actor. And
He's been
he
a risk
also-
taker from the
yeah,
beginning.
right from being Silas. He's actually quite wild in his thought, and he's also reads a lot and watches a lot of actors' interviews at like 2, 3 in the morning, and I'm like getting irritated. And then he'll like wake me up and tell me like, so and so sent this. I mean, some international actor, and then he'll like start reading about it. So he reads, he watches, he likes watching good movies. So we keep discussing. So I don't need to really go also too far, but also because I enjoy him as an artist.
Yeah.
So he also like kind of tells me, like he also sometimes pushes me. He's like, like, I don't think you should do this. Do it. No? Do like work with Sujoy, work with Hansal. He's like, get out of that, zone of don't listen to too many people. So we kind of push each other. So in that sense, I kind of respect that about him a lot.
That's so wonderful. Listen, I could genuinely be here for another hour. But I know you have to head to Singham 3.
Yeah, I know, which is like completely the different spectrum of everything.
I love that.
But like we also have to balance everything.
But that's so fantastic.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's
I enjoy it. I
fantastic.
love it.
Yeah, it's so much fun. I want to thank all of you for all the joy, all the tears, all the heartbreak, and the magic that you've given us. Please go out and keep doing it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.